I want to share with you guys the history of this particular brand, Audemars Piguet, because it's an important history and it's going to shed light on a lot of different factors. If you're a curious watch collector, you might want to know how this brand got started. If you're building your own brand, you might also want to know how it got started and how it accomplished something that is ultimately the holy grail of retail, okay? It was able to accomplish something that's I call going over retail, right? Very simple. This watch costs $17,800. It's the Royal Oak, a very, very popular watch. It's in extremely high demand right now. $17,800 is the retail from the Audemars boutique, okay? From the retailer themselves, we have the white face, gray face, black face, okay? So brand new, $17,800. What's the cheapest I could get you these three watches for? Well, no cheaper than about $22,800. Okay, am I buying them from Audemars for $17,800 and putting $5,000 on top? No, of course not. Okay, I'm explaining to you exactly how they got there, though, because the reality is, if you go to Audemars, you're not going to be able to get this watch. All right, it's sold out. The demand is very high. There's a waiting list for this particular timepiece. Everybody wants it. It's a classic timepiece. Now the value is above retail. That's the holy grail of anybody manufacturing anything. If you start making hats and you manufacture them for $10 and you sell them for $25 and then they're getting resold for $50 on eBay and in the Diamond District or whatever, you've accomplished something great because people want your product so much. You limit your supply and it has an extraordinary demand to it. That's something that they did for a variety of different reasons. It's hip-hop, it's this, it's that, but we're going to take the time to rewind the clock to 1875 with Jules Audemars and Edward Piguet founded this firm in the Valley des Joux, which is 30 miles away from Geneva, Switzerland. Okay, Geneva, Switzerland, where Patek Philippe and Rolex manufacture their watches. It's a place with all the specialized equipment and all the expertise that one might need to be able to found a company. You can't start a company like this in Mumbai, manufacture, and so on and so forth. Just like you can't do some of the things I'm doing outside of the Diamond District, right? I'm in the Diamond District. I don't really want to be here. I want to be somewhere else chilling with cleaner air, cleaner environment, but I can't. The diamond dealers are here. The manufacturers, the stone setters, everybody is over here, okay? The model makers, everything is here, so you have to centralize and I have to be here. So if you want to start a business, you have to be close to Geneva. They went 30 miles out because they were opening up a factory and probably rent was cheaper over there for a variety of reasons. So how do they get to jumping into this business? Because I'm making this video not just for somebody who just loves watches. I wanted somebody who's starting a business like I started mine to understand exactly where it really comes from. Okay? Rather than being the donkey, Audemars Quavo got the skeleton. If that's all you know, that's all you understand, that's cool. Okay? You're probably not even watching this long because I already went into the Valley des Joux from Geneva, Switzerland. You probably clicked off and you're watching someone fight over a sandwich. All right? But for the people that are interested, and I know there's a lot of you, and I respect you very, very much, I want to explain exactly how it goes so you understand. Audemars was working for Tiffany & Co., manufacturing watch movements. He might have started somewhere else as an apprentice working for free, working with his hands and learning. Piguet started with was in the regulation or movement of the watch industry. He was working in that sector, regulation of watch movements, all right, with the timing and so on and so forth. Another complicated part, they got together and one worked on manufacturing, of course that was Audemars, and the other worked on sales and branding, that was Piguet. And they worked together, they built this company ultimately from scratch. They got their money together. If they were working in these two particular fields, they weren't particularly rich. However they did in 1875, there's a lot of more details we'd like to know. But how do you go from an unknown Audemars, hey, we just painted our sign, Audemars Piguet on top, now we want to start an international watch brand that sells for over retail 150 years later or so? How do you get there? Okay, you start by making your mark. If Patek Philippe, which is big at the time, is making watches that are 19 millimeters thick and you make an 18 millimeter because you could do a better job and make it thinner, then you set your mark, and that's exactly what they did in 1891 when they made it the smallest repeater ever at just 18 millimeters. 1896, they made something called a complication. This is a complication. You see these chronographs? This is a Royal Oak offshore, by the way, below retails. Retails for $46,000 something. I get it to you for maybe $41,000, $42,000. Nonetheless, 1896, they get a Grand Complication pocket watch, which Grand and Small Strike, minute repeater, perpetual calendar, deadbeat seconds, chronograph, jumping second hands, split second hands. That's the timepiece that put them on the map in Switzerland because they were able to accomplish something extraordinary there. Right? They moved on. 1925, they created the thinnest pocket watch, 1.32 millimeters. That's like this thin. Okay? 1934, they created the skeleton watch, which is a beautiful watch even today, the one that they're manufacturing. That also put them on the map because that was the first skeleton watch in since the 18th century. Great Depression came around. They took a hit. They downsized to 2 employees. The brand held on. It went into a second generation. Still family owned, this company. Audemars Piguet, still by the Audemars Piguet family. They're still on the board of directors or whatever, and they own this entire extraordinary brand. That's another part of the heritage and legacy. World War II came around and hampered business. They were still doing stuff. They were still setting trends. Their company was still growing because they're fighters. They held on. They kept building. All right, kept setting records, kept developing timepieces. 50s, they took traction again. They were revered around the world. 1972, they came out with this model with this beautiful hexagon face, right? An incredible timepiece, a unique band. They completely took by storm because they came up with a design that seemed so simple, but yet was never present. And they really set a monster trend with that one, okay? And now they're at this stage because primarily a lot of it is hip-hop. How does that work? Quavo and this guy, they're tired of Rolexes and the big players in the game, and they go and they buy an iced-out Audemars. Then somebody in Japan sees it, they're wearing it, and then the billionaire guy, that's the cool guy, this guy, that guy in China, they're buying them up. It starts out with a trend, and the trend goes around the world, and it creates an incredible demand for. So now they're at their peak and their prime, and that's how the company got started. Okay? That's a little bit of the history. There's a lot more to it than that, of course, but this is a short format, so if you want to see more, you might go on YouTube, and we have more data there. If you need to reach me, okay, some people want to reach me. My number is 347-752-3274. If you're going to call that number, one of my employees is probably going to pick up, and we'll be able, if you want one of these timepieces, so on and so forth, I'd love to help you get that, okay? So this is a business after all. It's coming from the Diamond District. I'll definitely take personal care of you. But I can't sort out through all the phone calls and all this other stuff. You're going to be speaking to Georgie there, and if you're a serious buyer, we'll work together. I'll speak to you. If you're making a purchase, I'll definitely want to help you out with that. But that's not what it's about. It's about the history of the brand and understanding and enlightening for people that are building a company what it really is. Open your eyes to what's really going on. And if you're the type of guy that doesn't know anything, it's time to learn and time to be a sophisticated buyer, sophisticated shopper. Coming straight from the Diamond District, it's me, Trax. I hope you found this informative and interesting. I'm keeping an eye on your comments and whatever else you guys are doing. So I appreciate you very, very much. Over and out. It's Trax.